The Angel's Dictation and the Perfect Law. This section will focus on the role of Mastema, the severity of the Sabbath laws, and the ideological rewriting of history and Jubilees to justify the separatist lifestyle of the Essenes. Chapter 6. The Reign of Mastema and the Adversary's Covenant. This chapter will unveil the dualistic understanding of the origin of evil held by the Essenes. The legal basis of evil. After the Great Flood, when God commands the binding of the demons, the spirits of the deceased Nephilim, the one who argues for their continued presence is Mastema, the angel of hostility or enmity. The covenant and the testing. Mastema petitions God to keep 1/10 of these evil spirits under his command on earth. His argument: these spirits are necessary to test humanity, to tempt them, and to lead them down the path of sin. This legal covenant made by Mastema, set against God's mercy, provides a cosmic justification for the existence of evil. The consequence: the Essenes blame Mastema for the scourge of sickness, suffering, accidents, and moral corruption in the world. For them, life is an endless test, and every sin is a victory for Mastema's power. Warfare through purity. The Essenes' primary weapon against Mastema's conspiracy is perfect obedience to the law. Every correct action dictated by Jubilees, every festival celebrated on the exact correct date weakens Mastema's dominion. Their separation is not merely a social decision, it is an active spiritual war against Mastema's sovereignty. Chapter 7. The severity of the Sabbath and the divide of life and death. This chapter will detail the strict Sabbath laws of Jubilees, which were a core reason for the Essenes' isolation from mainstream society. Divine prohibitions. The angel of the presence dictates to Moses Sabbath observances so rigorous that the slightest transgression is designated a capital offense, punishable by death. Capital offenses. The most severe prohibitions include lighting a fire or furnace, engaging in any form of agriculture or commerce, assisting a birthing animal, or even running quickly to save a life. The comparative lens. While the Jerusalem priests would often allow for leniency and practical exemptions, the Sabbath of Jubilees was absolute. This contrast demonstrates why the Essenes could not coexist with the mainstream. For them, a wrong day or a single moment of deviation in Sabbath observance was profane, risking eternal damnation. Test of selection. This uncompromising rigor served as a filter for the Essenes community. Only those willing to commit to this life-or-death obedience could claim to be the chosen, holy remnant of heaven. This practice solidified their separatist identity. Chapter 9. Qumran, Sanctuary from the Desert's Curse. This chapter will transition to the physical, historical separation of the Essenes and the establishment of their primary settlement, Qumran. The Great Schism. Convinced that the temple in Jerusalem was thoroughly defiled by Hellenistic influence and the incorrect lunar calendar, the Essenes' leader, likely the teacher of righteousness, led his followers into exile in the desert. The curse of the 9th Jubilee. Jubilees contains prophecies stating that in the 9th Jubilee, likely a coded reference to their own time, Israel would fall into great sin. The Essenes saw themselves as the last pure segment escaping this impending curse. Life at Qumran. This desert compound provided the ideal environment for the Essenes with its emphasis on communal property, arduous labor, and strict initiation rituals to perfectly adhere to the immaculate law of Jubilees. They viewed themselves as the sons of light, completely segregated from the sons of darkness, the Jerusalem priests and their followers.
Absolutely. Building on the immense tension and isolation established in Part 2, here is the detailed outline for Part 3, the Scrolls, the Final War, and the Crucible of Discovery. This section will transition the story from ancient theology to the modern historical discovery, providing a powerful narrative arc that connects the Essenes' isolation to their ultimate legacy. This part is estimated to add approximately 2,500 to 3,500 words, pushing the overall story length well past the 9,000-word mark. Part 3. The Scrolls, the Final War, and the Crucible of Discovery. This final part pivots from the Essenes' life of pure obedience to their apocalyptic destiny and the eventual rediscovery of their secret texts in the modern era, revealing the true scope of the calendar conspiracy. Chapter 10. The War of the Sons of Light, the Essenes Apocalypse. This chapter focuses on the most famous and unique text found alongside Jubilees, the War Scroll, or Rule of War, which describes the final conflict. The blueprint for Armageddon. The War Scroll is not a historical account, but a meticulous manual for the final 40-year holy war between the Sons of Light, the Essenes joined by the purified tribes of Israel and an army of angels, and the Sons of Darkness, the Romans, the corrupted Jerusalem establishment, and the forces of Mastema. The role of the calendar. The Essenes were convinced the war would begin on a date dictated by the 364-day calendar. This fixed schedule meant the war was not a matter of human timing, but of cosmic destiny. Military order. Detail the Essene military organization described in the scroll, including the trumpets for battle, the banners inscribed with names like God's Truth and God's Wrath, and the specific roles for the priests and the angelic host. The ultimate disappointment. Historically, the Sons of Light did eventually engage in battle, not in a controlled, apocalyptic 40-year war, but in the chaotic, brutal First Jewish Revolt, 66 to 73 CE, against Rome. This historical deviation from the Jubilees blueprint is the sect's ultimate tragedy. They fought and died for the calendar, but the calendar betrayed their prophecy. Chapter 11. The Vanishing and the End of the True Time. This chapter covers the historical collapse of the Essenes community and the profound reason why their scrolls were hidden. Roman retribution. When the Roman 10th Legion swept through Judea, it destroyed Qumran, historically around 68 CE. The Essenes faced a brutal choice: submit to the Sons of Darkness or vanish. The Act of Secrecy. The decision to hide the scrolls in the 11 caves overlooking the Dead Sea was the sect's final desperate act of faith. It was not intended as an archival project for future generations, but as a preservation of the true law before its physical custodians were exterminated. The ultimate heresy. By hiding the documents, they ensured that the calendar, the true time of creation, would be lost to the world. The priests in Jerusalem who survived longer would continue with the lunisolar system, and the world would be plunged into the wrong time, validating the Jubilees' core claim that the mainstream was doomed. The silence of 2 millennia. The calendar of conspiracy became a total secret. The Essenes were absorbed into history, their writings dismissed by the later rabbis as the work of heretics. The 364-day calendar was functionally erased from Jewish life. Chapter 12. The Desert Speaks, the Modern Discovery. The narrative takes a dramatic leap in time to 1947, shifting the historical scope and introducing the final key character, the shepherd boy.